पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरो दीनतारिणं परम् आनन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यैश्वरम् गुरवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपीशा गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। देवदेव जगन्नाथ प्रपन्नार्ति विनाशनं त्राहि मां पुण्डरीकाक्षं पतितं भवसागरे। जय देवी भक्तिदात्री प्रसिद्धा परमेश्वरी जय देवी सुभद्रा त्वं सर्वेषां भद्रदायिनी। नमस्ते हलाग्रहा नमस्ते मूषलायुध नमस्ते रेवती कान्ता नमस्ते भक्तवत्सला। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, dear worshipful devotees, thank you so much for joining. It's been a while. We read together, but it's always a good idea to read Prabhupada's books, especially in the Sangha of devotees, where we relish the transcendental translations and purports that Prabhupada has given to all of us by reading books like Caitanya Caritamrita, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, etc. So, we are reading today Caitanya Caritamrita, Adi Lila chapter 7, entitled Lord Chaitanya and Five Features. We have read till text 121 in the last session. So we're going to resume from text number 122.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much for joining. You're able to hear me?
Yes, Prabhuji, we are able to hear you, but we are driving back. We are on our way back.
You can read now.
Did you want to read, you said?
No, Prabhuji, we're just letting you know that we are in the car and we are driving back to
No worries.
Jackson from Nashville. Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji. Drive safe and thank you for connecting. You know, this is the quality of devotee, avyartha kalatvam. Every moment is so precious, right? Every moment is so precious that you thought to utilize your drive time in reading, hearing Chaitanya Charitamrita. So thank you. That's very inspirational. So we will read this verse. Parinamavade Ishvara Hayena Vikari Etako hi vivrittavada sthapana ye kori. Translation and purport. By His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. According to Shankaracharya, by accepting the theory of the transformation of the energy of the Lord, one creates an illusion by indirectly accepting that the absolute truth is transformed. Purport. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur comments that if one does not clearly understand the meaning of Parinamavada or transformation of energy, one is sure to misunderstand the truth regarding this material, cosmic manifestation and the living entities. In the Chandogya Upanishad, 6.8.4, it is said, Sanmula Samyumeha, Sanmula Samya Maha, Praja Sat Ayantah Sat Pratishtha. The material world and the living entities are separate beings, and they are eternally true, not false. Important point. They are eternally true. They're not mithya. They are true, not false. They are temporary, but they are true. Uh, the material world. Shankaracharya, however, unnecessarily fearing that parinamavada, transformation of energy, Brahman would be transformed. Vikari has imagined both the material world and the living entities to be false and to have no individuality. By word jugglery, he has tried to prove that the individual identities of the living entities and the material world are illusory. By word jugglery, important point here. And he has cited the examples of mistaking a rope for a snake or an oyster shell for gold. Thus, he has most abominably cheated people in general, Shankaracharya, because that's what his goal or mission or objective was. The example of misunderstanding a rope to be a snake is mentioned in the Mandukya Upanishad, but it is meant to explain the error of identifying the body with the soul. Since the soul is actually a spiritual particle, as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, Mame Vamsho Jiva Loke. It is due to the illusion, Vivratvada, that a human being, like an animal, identifies the body with the self. This is a proper example of Vivarta or illusion. The verse At Atatvato Anyatha Buddhir Vivritta iti Udaharitah describes such an illusion. To not know actual facts and thus to mistake one thing for another, as for example, to accept the body as oneself is called Vivartavada. Every conditioned living entity who considers the body to be the soul is deluded by this Vivartavada. One can be attacked by this Vivartavada philosophy when he forgets the inconceivable power of the omnipotent personality of Godhead. How the Supreme Personality of Godhead remains as he is, never changing, is explained in the Ishopanishad. Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Vishishyate. God is complete, even if a complete manifestation is taken away from him, he continues to be complete. The material creation is manifested by the energy of the Lord, but he is still the same person. His form, entourage, qualities, and so on never deteriorate. Shajiva Goswami, in his Paramatma Sandarbha, comments regarding the Vivrittavada as follows. Under the spell of the Vivrittavada, one imagines the separate entities, namely the cosmic manifestation and the living entities, to be one with Brahman. This is due to complete ignorance regarding the actual fact. The absolute truth, or Parabrahman, is always one and always the same. He is completely free from all other conceptions of existence. He is completely free from false ego. For he is full, for he is the full spiritual identity. It is absolutely impossible for him to be subjected to ignorance and fall under the spell of a misconception, Vivartavada. The absolute truth is beyond our conception. One must admit that he has unblemished qualities. Unblemished. It's no like dark spot. That he does not share with every living entity. Hmm. He is never tainted in the slightest degree by the flaws of ordinary living beings. Everyone must therefore understand the absolute truth to possess inconceivable potencies. Hare Krishna. So, again, the context here is that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is answering the questions of Prakashananda, or the head of the Mayavadi sannyasi groups. They asked multiple questions. This is happening in where Varanasi, where there's a meeting going on, and Lord Chaitanya was invited. So they asked him multiple questions. One of the questions was, why don't you read Vedanta? Mm, Why are you being so emotional, chanting and dancing? And that's what many people even think devotees. So why are you so emotional, bhavuk, right? That means you're not learned. That means you don't know the science, the absolute science, or the absolute, the philosophy behind this. But actually, that's not the case. The devotee knows the topmost knowledge. Raj Vidya, Raj Guyam, Pavitramidam Uttamam. Understanding who am I, who is God, who, what is the connection between I and the Supreme, and what is the means to get there of devotional service. Yes, that's the perfection of knowledge. We don't need to be jnanis and study like infinite number of literature or remember thousands of verses. What is the goal of learning? What is the goal of memorizing verses and studying Shastra? Is to develop pure love for Krishna, is to chant and dance in ecstasy, is to remember Krishna, is to chant the holy name, is to serve. That's the goal of all the studies. It's a perfection, the culmination of study. So here the prime topic is transformation of energy. So in material world, if someone has $100 and they give 10 here, they give 5 here, they buy something for 20, then what they have left at the end is basically zero. Their energy, the $100 energy has been transformed, maybe in potatoes, maybe in some pens, or maybe some other, fuel for the car. So that $100 has been transformed. It was finite, it was limited. But when we talk about Krishna and his energy, you know, Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vishishyate. So infinite living entities, infinite planets may come from the infinite Supreme Lord, but yet he stays infinite. There's a big difference here. We are finite, or Anu. He's infinite, or Vibhu. That's a big difference. So we cannot say, oh, this rule applies to the Supreme Lord. Oh, I have $100. It disappears after I use it in different affairs. So the same logic cannot be applied to the Supreme Lord. As Krishna says, all the modes are coming from me, but I am not in them. As we were reading yesterday in this kids session, Ye chaiva sattvika bhava, Bhagavad Gita 7:12. Rajasas tamasas ye matta eveti tan vidhi natav aham teshu te mai. Natav aham teshu te mai. They are in me, I am not in them. They come from me, not the vice versa. All states of being, goodness, passion, ignorance, are manifested by my energy. I am in one sense everything, but I'm independent. I don't lose my identity. I'm not under the modes, for they are, on contrary, within me. It means all these modes come from the Supreme Lord, not vice versa. Krishna is not a product of material energy. Krishna is not a product of, some people say, oh, Krishna was stealing. Oh, look at it's a mode of ignorance activity or mode of passion. Oh, he's dancing with young girls. Oh, look, very passionate. No, it's all transcendental. It's all very, very divine. It's all inconceivable. One can be attacked by Vivrittavada when he forgets the inconceivable potency or the power. We're not talking about some ordinary person. We're talking about Krishna, whose janma, karma, cha me divyam. Evam yoveti tattvataha. So knowing this is not ordinary. We're talking about the Supreme Lord. We're talking about Purna Purushottam Bhagavan Sri Krishna, who is above all these. So he's not under the spell of Vivrittavada or transformation leading to cessation or leading to basically, mergence of one's identity. Like one's identity is lost. His identity is lost because he has created so many things. No, he is full of um, infinite energy. Although infinite things emanate from him, still he remains pure, infinite, Satchidananda, Vigraha. Any other thoughts, comments here in this text? In short, Vaishnavas do not accept this theory. What's the theory? That one creates an illusion by indirectly accepting that the absolute truth is transformed. So absolute truth is when he transforms into different energy, he still remains Satchidananda, complete. Okay, so I guess we will move on to the next verse, 123. Would someone like to read this? Anyone feeling inspired to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, Om Srila Prabhupada. I can read Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji, please.
Dandavat Pranam to all devotees. Text 123. বস্তুত পরিণামবাদ সেই সে প্রমাণ দেহে আত্মবুদ্ধি এই বিবর্তের স্থান. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Transformation of energy is a proven fact. It is the false bodily conception of the self that is an illusion. The jiva or living entity is a spiritual spark who is part of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Unfortunately, he thinks the body to be the self, and that misunderstanding is called vivarta, or acceptance of untruth to be truth. The body is not the self, but animals and foolish people think that it is. Vivarta, illusion, does not, however, denote a change in the identity of the spirit soul. It is the misconception that the body is the self that is an illusion. Similarly, the Supreme Personality of Godhead does not change when his external energy, consisting of the 8 gross and subtle material elements listed in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhumir, Apo, Nalo, Vayu, etc., acts and reacts in different phases. So here, what I understood is Jiva or living entity is the part and parcel of Supreme Personality Godhead. We are the Jivas. And but the Jiva thinks that body to be the self. Means, is that self means soul, Prabhuji? That's what they meant. Like there is body and the self means the soul.
No, self means I, like I'm the body.
Okay. So okay. So I'm the body. So that is the misconception living entity has, and that is called the misunderstanding is called vivarta, and that is the untruth. That is untruth, and the body is not the self, but animals or foolish people thinks that it is. So that's a vivarta, the illusion. We have the illusion that we are the body, but our body is temporary. But our soul is eternal. Soul never changes, but our body will change and it will decay with time, and then we'll leave our body. But the soul, the eternal soul, will not be changed. So the illusion is that we are the body. So that's what my understanding. Please explain, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Masati Mataji, for reading this nice verse. This reminds me of a beautiful bhajan called Nitai Pada Kamala Koti Chandra Shushitala Jichai Jagata Jura. One who does not take shelter of the lotus feet of Nitai, that person is, which are giving shelter like millions of moons, just soothing like millions of moon. That person basically has kind of unfortunately given up the precious chance of human form of life. And in that bhajan also comes ahankara matta hoya निताय पद पाशरिया असत्य सत्य को रिमान असत्य को सत्य मान लेते हैं असत्य means which is false, which is not true, but we consider that as true, referring to the body and things in connection to the body, and which is really truth, satya, the spirit soul, the soul and the connection. What the three things are? Bhakt, Bhagwan and Bhakti. The jiva, the devotee, the Supreme Lord, and the bhakti connection is the only real thing. We were in the Sadhu Sangha recently, in His Holiness Radhanath Sai Maharaj was quoting Srila Prabhupada and mentioning that unfortunately we think that the material world is going to give me, happiness. This is also a big illusion. Anything but Krishna is going to give me happiness, If one thinks like that, one is an illusion. Because there's only one way to get happiness. There's one way to get success in life, and that is the connection with Krishna. That is Krishna consciousness. But Maya is so strong. Maya is what? Maya means one which is not. So, asatya, asatya korimani. Maya makes us believe that the untruth thing is the truth. That the temporary things we think, we pay more emphasis on those. And the eternal bhakti process we put on the back burner. I'm talking about myself, right? The temporary, the things which are not going to really be productive for me in the long run, or the eternal journey of the soul, I put them in the forefront. And the bhakti process, that is, always taking a back seat. What to speak of those who completely ignores, do consider body as the self. At the time of cremation, they say Ram Nam Satya Hai. Right? Ram Nam is always truth. Truth is always fact. It's not just the time when the body is gone. So in short, one should overcome the false bodily conception. That is the fundamental teaching. We have heard maybe a million times, I am not the body, but the spirit soul. But the scriptures time and again remind us, because it's such an important concept. The more we read about it, the more we hear about it, the more we'll be situated on that platform, the more we'll try to work on that platform. That I am not this body, I'm not this temporary body, I'm the eternal spirit soul. And by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, we are over to overcome this misconception and and get to the real understanding. Who am I? Right? Who is Krishna? Who is God? What's my connection with him? Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojan. And that's what the goal of human form of life is, to eradicate that illusion. Om Agyan Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. I offer my obeisance to the spiritual master who eradicates the ignorance, the misconception, the doubt, the false identification. Any other comments here? Yes, Shilpa Mataji, you want to read next verse?
Yes, Prabhuji, I'll try. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Dandavat Pranam, devotees, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Text 124. Avichintya Sakti Yukta Shri Bhagavan Ichaya Jagat Rupe Paya Parinam Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is opulent in all respects. Therefore, by His inconceivable energies, He has transformed the material cosmic manifestation. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Back to you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji, for reading. There is no purport in this verse. Avichintya or achintya, same words. Chintan means to conceive. Achintya or avichintya means we cannot conceive. The infinite, the Shakti, the unlimited, Krishna is achintya, or avichintya, inconceivable energy, inconceivable potency. Yukta Shri Bhagavan, Yukta, he possesses, right? Aishwaryasya Samagrasya Viryasya Yasha Shriya, the word comes, right? So the six opulences, right? Unlimited wealth, unlimited beauty, unlimited opulences, unlimited strength, unlimited knowledge, unlimited renunciation. So unlimited inconceivable potencies. He's the possessor, Yukta. Ichaya Jagat Rupe Paya Parinam. Just by his desire, right? This whole cosmic manifestation, no matter how powerful the best CEO of this world could be, right? You may have some names in mind, that's fine, right? Consider some big companies, big CEO, owner, whatever, right? If he has to open a new factory in a new country or somewhere, it needs a lot of effort, right? It's not that but just by tiny his desired things will happen, right? We may think, oh, they don't have any stress. They have million times more stress than the employees, right? I know my company owner, sometimes I talk to him. It may feel that, oh, he's a maybe billionaire, or I don't know, like very wealthy person, but very stressful, right? Yes. If he has to open up a new community, so much stress he has to go. Where will the funds come from? Who's going to manage it? And this and that. Do we have the right people? Or these people are not doing their job. These people are always lazy. These people are doing, always like so many stress, so much stress. But the Supreme Lord, Ichaya Jagat Rupe, just by a mere desire, unlimited this cosmic manifestation, parinam, he is not stressing about it. He's he has so many of his energies, the Devi Devta, the universal garments, just a mere glance, just a mere desire, and all these, products of the cosmic manifestation we see, Jagat Rupa. And not just one Jagat. How many, there are infinite planetary systems in the material world, and then similar in the spiritual world. We cannot fathom. Anantashesh, it is said, on his thousands and thousands of hoods, he is carrying these universes, right? Like a baby holds mustard seeds in his palm. That's an analogy given. How easy is for us to hold maybe 100 mustard seeds? They're so tiny. Even if like a one hand scoop, like maybe 200, 500 seeds may come. So that's the brilliance of the Supreme Lord. Achintya Shakti Yukta Shri Bhagavan. His everything is, the six main opulences. And if you like that verse, you can remember Ashwaryasya Samagrasya Viryasya Yasha Shriya Jnana Vairagyaschaiva Shanna Bhaga Iti Gana. These are the six opulences. Therefore, he's called Bhagwan. Any other comments, thoughts here? Next, Shrama Mataji, please.
Shastra Father. Text 125. তথাপি অচিন্ত শক্তে হয় অধিকারী প্রাকৃত চিন্তামণি তাহে দৃষ্টান্ত যে ধরি. Translation by Swami A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Using the example of a touchstone, which by its energy turns iron to gold and yet remains the same, we can understand that although the Supreme Personality of Godhead transforms his innumerable energies, he remains unchanged. Back to you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Sharma Mataji, for reading. This verse is quite straightforward. The example of touchstone is given. Anyone has that touchstone? Can transform iron into gold. Very simple. I'll give you iron. You can transform it. So yes, there are some touchstones like that, which may not be available now, or at least to common person. But they're achintya. Comprehending that in our tiny head also seems, it's beyond comprehension. How can that be possible? How can a touchstone transform iron to gold? We cannot conceive it, right? There are many things we cannot conceive. How can we conceive the Shamantak jewel producing like tons of gold every day? How can we conceive so many things? If 50 years back, if someone would have shared that someone would be in India and someone would be sitting in US and they'll be talking and seeing each other, they would have said, no, it's impossible. 50 years back, the size of computer, the processor which is there in our phones is million times faster than the computer 50 years back. And the size of that computer was almost like 2,000 square feet, the size of the home. So how can one conceive that you can fit in the size of the computer like in a home in the size of a phone which fits in one's palm. So there could be many things in like we cannot conceive now, or we cannot conceive even in future. We cannot conceive how Ravana had the Pushpak Viman that it was stolen, but stolen property, but it would move by the desire of the mind, right? No fuel required, no waste, even no hybrid, no electric, no recharging issues, no stopping here and there. It would just run with the energy of mind with zero waste. We cannot conceive it. So there are many things we cannot conceive. Therefore, we have to understand that yes, Krishna is inconceivable. His energies are also inconceivable. Tathapi achintya shaktya, right? How can we conceive, like we are infinitesimal, we are trying to understand infinite. So the infinite cannot understand the infinitesimal cannot understand the infinite unless the infinite chooses to reveal himself to the infinitesimal. So, Divya Gyan, Hriday Prakashito. When we follow Guru Krishna, whatever is supposed to be known will come. No. And whatever is a devotee understands more through Shabda than through heart or than through head. We follow the parampara. Bhagavatam says it, that's it. Guru says it, that's it. That's my praman. Bhagavatam says that. The words of Bhagavatam will not be wrong. They're the words of the Supreme Lord Krishna, Vyasadeva. That's the proof. I don't need any other proof. So scientists may change, theories may change, the words of common man may change, but the words of the Shastra, Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, they don't change. That's our proof. They say Krishna is inconceivable. They say Krishna is avikari. The word used here is avikari. इसमें विकार नहीं होता, change नहीं होता. Avikari. Any other thoughts here? So one Chintamani stone, you can have millions of iron pieces turned into gold. Yet it remains the same. It remains avikari. It's not that now the potency is lost because he had converted 1,000 iron pieces to gold. Now it's only 20% Chintaman, right? It has lost its potency. Or now it's not going to convert into 24 karat gold, maybe 10 karat gold. The potency is lost. No. It stays pure and does not change. Avikari. Next, 126. Anyone?
Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah, I think Ruby Mataji or Pauline Mataji, one of you can read.
Ruby Mataji can go ahead. I'll do the
Please.
next.
Please, Polimataji, please go ahead. I'll do the next. Thank you.
Okay. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji, for joining or reading. Please.
Okay. নানা রত্ন রাশি হয় চিন্তামণি হইতে তথাপিহ মনি রহে স্বরূপে অবিকৃতে. Translation. Although a touchstone produces many varieties of valuable jewels, it nevertheless remains the same. It does not change its original form. Back to you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. I think we kind of discussed this part in the previous verse. I was not aware that this is going to be coming. But the point is clear that this touchstone is compared to what? here? That stone is compared to what here?
Chintamani.
Valuable jewels.
No, Chintamani means touchstone. It's not.
It's compared to
Valuable jewel.
Krishna, Bhagavan.
Yeah, it's
Krishna
compared to
is one.
Krishna.
Ah, I see. Okay. Okay.
And what are the different ratnas or different manifestations compared to?
Different jewels. Nana Ratna.
No,
Touchstone.
that's Sanskrit and English.
Yeah, so his innumerable energies.
Correct, yes. The innumerable energies or the transformations or the expansions, material world, spiritual world, jivas, etc., are the different ratnas, which are coming as a transformation of Chintamani, but Chintamani stays Chintamani. Nana Ratna Rashi hoy Chintamani hoite. They're coming from where? That stone produces many varieties of valuable jewels. So Krishna produces by his desire many varieties of energies. Right? Does it make sense? That's the analogy we are discussing. Tathapi, tatha api. In that way, it stays the same. The Chintamani, the money, stays the same. Because it's avikrita, without change. Therefore, the Supreme Lord also does not change. It's not that now the Chintamani was 100% pure initially. It has produced 1,000 ratnas. Now it's only 50% pure. Its capacity has gone down, right? Battery life. So it was 100% pure. Now after running 1,000 miles or 100,000 miles, only 80% battery left, right? And like iPhone, after 2 years, the battery, it's not 100%, right? After another 2 years, maybe 20% left. And then after that, it's all energy gone. It's like the end, right? But this is transcendental. Krishna, or here Chintamani, it does not lose its energy or lose its purity, lose its identity. Avikrita. Is it okay? Is everyone following why we are talking, or why Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami, why Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is quoting this Chintamani example, which we discussed in the last 2-3 verses?
Yes, Bhagavan.
Okay, so we'll go to the next verse, 127. Yes, Ruby Mataji, you want to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Danvat Pranam, devotees. Text 127. प्रकृत वास्तुते यदि अचिंत्य शक्ति है ईश्वरेर अचिंत्य शक्ति इथे की विस्मय. Translation by S.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada ki jai. If there is such inconceivable potency in material objects, why should we not believe in the inconceivable potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Purport. The argument of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu described in this verse can be easily understood even by a common man. If he simply thinks of the activities of the sun, which has been giving off unlimited amounts of heat and light since time immemorial and yet has not even slightly decreased in power. Modern science believes that it is by sunshine that the entire cosmic manifestation is maintained, and actually one can see how the actions and reactions of sunshine maintain order throughout the universe. The growth of vegetables and even the rotation of the planets take place due to the heat and light of the sun. Sometimes, therefore, modern scientists consider the sun to be the original cause of creation, not knowing that the sun is only a medium. for it is also created by the supreme energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Aside from the sun and the touchstone, there are many other material things that transform their energy in different ways and yet remain as they are. It is not necessary, therefore, for the original cause, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to change due to the changes or the transformation of his different energies. The falsity of Sripada Shankaracharya's explanation of Vivartavada and Parinamavada has been detected by the Vaishnava Acharyas, especially Jiva Goswami, whose opinion is that actually Shankara did not understand the Vedanta Sutra. In Shankar's explanation of one sutra, Anandamayo Vyasat, he has interpreted the affix mayat with such word jugglery that this very explanation proves that he had little knowledge of the Vedanta Sutra, but simply wanted to support his impersonalism through the aphorism of the Vedanta philosophy. Actually, however, he failed to do so because he could not put forward strong arguments. In this connection, Srila Jiva Goswami cites the phrase Brahma Pucham Pratishtha, Taittiriya Upanishad 2.5, which gives Vedic evidence that Brahmana is the origin of everything. In explaining this verse, Sripada Shankaracharya interpreted various Sanskrit words in such a way that he implied, according to Jiva Goswami, that Vyasadeva had very little knowledge of higher logic. Such unscrupulous deviation from the real meaning of the Vedanta Sutra has created a class of men who, by word jugglery, try to derive various indirect meanings from the Vedic literatures, especially the Bhagavad Gita. One of them has even explained that the word Kurukshetra refers to the body. Such interpretations imply, however, that neither Lord Krishna nor Vyasadeva had a proper sense of word usage or etymological adjustment. They lead one to assume that since Lord Krishna could not personally sense the meaning of what he was speaking and Vyasadeva did not know the meaning of what he was writing, Lord Krishna left his book to be explained later by the Mayavadis. Such interpretations merely prove, however, that their proponents have very little philosophical sense. Shall I continue, Prabhuji? Oh, okay. Instead of wasting one's time falsely deriving such indirect meanings from the Vedanta Sutra and other Vedic literatures, one should accept the words of this book as they are. In presenting Bhagavad Gita as it is, therefore, we have not changed the meaning of the original words. Similarly, if one studies the Vedanta Sutra as it is without whimsical and capricious adulteration, one can understand the Vedanta Sutra very easily. Srila Vyasadeva, therefore, explains the Vedanta Sutra beginning from the first sutra, Janmadi Asya Yataha, in his Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.1. Janmadi Aso Yato Nobad Itarastas Chartesu Abhigyanaha Swarat. I meditate upon him, Lord Sri Krishna, the transcendental reality who is the primeval cause of all causes, from whom all manifested universe arise, in whom they dwell and by whom they are destroyed. I meditate upon that eternally effulgent Lord who is directly and indirectly conscious of all manifestations and yet is fully independent. The Supreme Personality of Godhead knows very well how to everything perfectly. He is abhijna, always fully conscious. The Lord therefore says in the Bhagavad Gita 7.26 that he knows everything, past, present, and future, but that no one but a devotee knows him as he is. Therefore, the absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, is at least partially understood by devotees of the Lord. But the Mayavadi philosophers who unnecessarily speculate to understand the absolute truth simply waste their time. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, back to you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Any comments? No, it's a long purport. You read. Thank you for reading. Any
So-
thoughts?
So my understanding, Prabhuji, from this purport is the devotees can understand Lord either partially or yeah, they can. The devotee can understand the Lord, but the Mayavadi philosopher they cannot understand, and they only give the misconception of the who is Lord and about the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Very well. Thank you so much, Mataji. So in the last verse, we talked about the primarily Chintamani, right? Is this Chintamani a material object or a spiritual object?
Spiritual.
Spiritual. It's a material object like iron, gold, right? Ultimately, it's matter, right? It's made up of earth, water, fire, air, some elements of Lord's creation. It's not Sachidananda Vigraha, right? It's matter, right? It's a product of material energy, right? It's not spiritual energy. As we see here, Prakrita Vastu, right? It's even a Prakrita Vastu, even like sun, right? It's made up of earth, water, fire, air, ether, right? The sun planet. यदि अचिंत्य शक्ति हो, अगर प्राकृत वस्तु में अचिंत्य शक्ति हो सकता है, like two examples given here. What are the two examples? The Chintamani and the sun. The sun has been giving energy for time immemorial. Now we don't feel, oh, sun, poor sun has been like, giving energy for thousands and thousands of years. Now battery left only 20%, right? So even the sun can supply energy for inconceivably. Ishwara achintya shakti, इथि के विस्मय. इसमें क्या विस्मय है? What is so astonishing if a material object can give such inconceivable, potency? Can the Lord, who is the creator of all the material and the spiritual, can he not show or can he not have this achintya shakti? Where's the question of vikar there? Where's the question of transformation? Where's the question of losing one's identity? The sun has not lost his identity. The Chintamani has not lost its identity. They have been, supplying their energy for so long. Where is the question of the Supreme Lord, who is not Prakriti energy, who is transcendental, Ishvara Achintya Shakti, Iti ke Vishnu. Is everyone getting the context here? So that's basically described. The two examples, the sun and the Chintamani. There is no question of Vivrittava. There is no question of transformation. Avikari Krishna. lot of time you may watch these videos, you may, come across people saying, oh, what is Bhagavad Gita? Kurukshetra is the body. Pandavas are the senses. Yudhishthira is the mind. Sorry, the mind is listening to the ego. It just, it's called perfect example of word jugglery. So what is Prabhupada saying here? Such interpretations who say, oh, Kurukshetra is the body, Pandavas are like the five senses, Draupadi is like the mind or the ego, ultimately, and then they compare this to the desires, and the whole Mahabharata just want to take God out of the picture and make it a fancy, some fancy stuff, right? To get views on YouTube. That's basically, the goal. Such interpretations, what do they imply? Neither God, Krishna, nor Vyasadeva, the supreme literary incarnation, had a sense of their word usage. That means they're basically saying they don't know what they are talking. I know what they want to talk. I know better than the Lord. I know better than Vyasadeva. Through etymological, like breaking the words, connecting, like word jugglery, basically, they lead one to assume, since Lord could not personally sense the meaning of what he was speaking, and Vyasdev did not even know the meaning of what he was writing. So Lord Krishna left his book to be explained later by Mayavadi fools. Such interpretations merely prove that their proponents have very little philosophical sense. In short, it's basically nonsense. So one should not, get entangled with such people or such videos. They may float around WhatsApp, they may float around YouTube. One should be careful. Now we are not saying that there could be an indirect meaning. We are not disapproving that, right? But we don't consider that as the chief thing, right? Prati shloke prati akshare nana arthe koi. There could be thousands of meanings from every syllable of Gita or Bhagavatam. But that does not mean one should take God out of picture and say, oh, Kurukshetra, it's all fiction. It's mythological. No. That is Mayavadi understanding, right? That's, the main thing, the main message of Gita is become Krishna's devotee. Manmana bhav madbhaktam. Krishna the Supreme, I am the soul, the servant of the Lord. And if around that, there could be certain, themes, certain messages, certain take-home, points, the acharyas may give. Therefore, it's best to study what acharyas are giving. Because I'm not that smart, or I don't have that devotion to derive newer and newer meanings. But our acharyas like Prabhupada, like Jiva Goswami, Rupa Goswami, Vyasadeva, etc., etc. Therefore, we study their books, not any Tom, Dick, Harry's books. Very, very important. Any comments, thoughts, questions before we wrap up today?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Ranvat Pranam. It's here. It's Prabhupada's translation. He's condemning. He's strongly condemning the comments of like Mayavadi philosophy. I forgot its name, Prabhuji, sorry.
Shankaracharya.
Shankaracharya, yeah, yes, Prabhuji. It's very strongly, and here it says like openly says like half, not doesn't have knowledge about what Vedanta is, or did not understand clearly or something like that, right? I mean, that's very I felt like only who knows the real truth and they believe on that real truth can actually come up and speak the truth strongly, right? So it's a little bit, for me, it's fascinating on how Prabhupada is strongly giving that message, because he is also worshipped, and then he's incarnation of Lord Shiva, and lot of them, lot of the people follow, right, the sampradaya and so forth, but Srila Prabhupada believing the truth, and he's strongly giving that message. I like the way that Prabhupada gave the message. I just wanted to share, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And that's the compassion and the boldness of a great acharya. They're compassionate. Like sometimes if we really care for our children, we may sometimes give a strong message for their benefit, right? So acharya like Prabhupada, they really care for it's their compassion, it's their care for the whole world, to not be misled or misdirected by the wrong teachings, which will not take to pure devotional service. So Prabhupada was never, desiring for followership, giving a wishy-washy philosophy. Oh, you can also do so. So the Shankaracharya's followers are also happy. Meat eaters are also happy. Drug addicts are also happy. No, no wishy-washy. Clear, right? Very, very clear. This is the truth and this is false. And I'm saying so not because I'm your enemy, but I care for you. That's Prabhupada or pure acharyas. Thank you for your reflection. Yes, Ruby Mataji, what's on your mind?
Prabhuji, one question came to my mind, as Sushilpa Mataji said, Shankaracharya is the incarnation of Shiva. Shiva is the Param Vaishnav. And if Shankaracharya is the incarnation of Shiva, as we read in the purport that one devotee he can understand Lord at least partially. But why Shankaracharya spread this Mayavadi philosophy regarding the Supreme Personality of Godhead?
Yes, very thoughtful question. And we discussed this earlier because his guru, his master, Lord Govinda, told him to do so. Right? If we go back in the purports in the previous sessions, we have covered this point in great detail. It is only because Lord Govinda told Lord Shiva, you do this service because it was needed as per those circumstances. So he gave some circumstantial knowledge which was not fully correct, which was not complete. But he had to do so because of time, place, and circumstances. And the previous purport, the previous verses, we have covered that. But I did try to summarize. Does that help, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
The pendulum example that you gave, Prabhuji, very beautifully explained. Thank you so much. In the previous classes.
Yeah, Prabhuji, I missed the class, so this question came to my mind.
Yeah, the pendulum example is very helpful. I just repeated from my teachers. So yes, maybe in one of the previous classes you can try to hear that.
Yes, Prabhuji. I will go through the recordings.
Mhm. But I think in nutshell, because he was told to do so by the Supreme Lord,
Yes, yes.
his master. And what does a pure devotee want? Karishyasi vachanam tava. I will do as you tell me, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I guess we'll pause here and continue tomorrow with the next verse, 128. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद श्री चैतन्य चरितामृत की जय, श्री कृष्णदास कविराज गोस्वामी की जय, जगत गुरु श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, समवेत गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। Thank you. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Hari
Prabhuji.
Sadhana
Bol.
Bhakti Mataji ki also jai. Hari Bol Mataji. Good to see you.
Mataji खुश